Following the publication of the Kearse review into gender medicine, kids in Scotland who think they're trans will no longer be prescribed puberty blockers, but they'll still be allowed to wear a kilt and see if they like it. Royal Stoke Hospital displayed a banner with 21 gender flags in its reception. What bigots! Where are the other 428 genders? Still, it's good to see the NHS spending money on essential things like gender flags. If they didn't, they'd only waste it on something like kidney machines or radiotherapy. One of the flags represented gender fluid. If you do see gender fluid in a hospital, call for an orderly and they'll mop it up. Reading University denied that its cloud seeding technology caused floods in Dubai, but the university's chemtrail department is suspiciously quiet. Come on, Reading, the people demand the truth. Muslim pupils lost their court case against Catherine Birbalsingh's incredibly successful school where prayer is banned. So these Muslim pupils joined the school because its system clearly works. But then once they were in, wanted to change the system. If only there was some sort of lesson we could learn from this. Labour revealed that they destroyed documents that could have shown where Angela Rayner said she was living. Oh man, I bet they're kicking themselves. These documents would have probably proved that Angela was innocent, but they were shredded. Oh, they must be furious with themselves. There was a backup copy of the documents, but it was stored on Rebecca Vardy's phone, so we won't be getting that. A study revealed that rich people are smoking more than they used to, probably because they're the only people who can afford a packet of cigarettes right now. 18 quid for 20 ciggies. No wonder British people aren't having sex anymore. We can't afford the post-coital smoke. And Brussels proposed visa-free movement in Europe for British young people, but not if they want to go to the National Conservative Conference, which was shut down by Brussels police to guarantee public safety. Wow, Brussels police, thanks for keeping the public safe from these mainstream politicians who I'm sure were just about to leap from the stage and claw at the public's faces. I feel so much safer knowing that authoritarian leaders can cancel their political rivals. If only Europe could be so robustly conscious of public safety when it comes to enforcing its actual borders instead of the borders around conference venues. Sadly, when it comes to undocumented fighting-age men from violent, medieval, misogynist, homophobic cultures entering Europe, it suddenly becomes illegal to guarantee public safety. Still, I'm sure a Janjaweed militant Islamist is much less dangerous than Suella Braverman. It's interesting to see what left-wing leaders do think is okay, though. The mayor of Brussels himself hosted a radical Iranian politician in Brussels, the mayor of Tehran, who's reportedly overseen women being shot and tortured for protesting and for not wearing a veil, and has been sanctioned by the UK for human rights abuses. So progressive. Being a Conservative now is like being in the Sex Pistols. You can display a Union Jack, Guardian columnists scream, "Ban this filth." The left have managed the unimaginable, making conservatism the refuge of the rebellious. And everyone can see that the speakers at NatCon aren't conspiracists, but are right. Braverman spoke at the conference of how Britain could leave the restrictive European institutions, such as the European Convention on Human Rights, and her argument is surely given a boost. Now we've seen this example of how European institutions are controlled by the far left and weaponised to persecute political dissidents. Instead of recognising this as grossly overplaying their hand, the left revelled in it, with jeering laughter in the British Parliament. In a sneak preview of how Keir Starmer's Labour government might treat the opposition, Labour's shadow health minister Wes Streeting said that Suella Braverman was in Brussels with some far-right fanatics. No, they're mainstream politicians. Meanwhile, London's police force this week threatened to arrest a man for being openly Jewish. According to the police officer, this could be a breach of the peace. To dig themselves out, the police released a statement, which they've since retracted, saying that opposing the protest could be provocative, shutting down political opponents, threatening to arrest people for being openly Jewish, and allying themselves with Islamists. Do left-wing leaders ever stop to consider that they might be the baddies?